It's taken a year of negotiations, but finally the government has announced it will buy 2 new Cook Strait ferries. But that's virtually all they've told us, with the list of unanswered questions including who's building them, whether they'll be rail-enabled and how much they'll cost. Here's senior political correspondent Jenna Lynch with today's big non-reveal.
Hang on help's on its way.
New Zealand meets your old and new Minister for Rail.
We're loving it.
As we revealed last night, Winston Peters will reclaim responsibility for rail.
New Zealanders can be assured, for so long as Minister Winston Peters is the Minister for Rail, the trains are in good hands.
He'll also be responsible for securing some new ships. After a year treading water, the government finally confirmed it will buy new Cook Strait ferries, but that's about all it could confirm about the boats.
No matter what, we will be procuring 2 ferries that will ensure a safe and reliable ferry service. We will be doing that for less than the cost of Project IREX.
Project IREX was the previous plan to buy 2 new mega ferries totalling $551 million. But KiwiRail, which runs the Inter-Islander, let the project blow out big time to over $3 billion, with major upgrades needed to wharves and ferry terminals to cater for the bigger boats. So IREX was canned, and it's taken a year for the coalition to come up with a solution which, as we reported last night, will be creating a new Crown-owned company to procure 2 smaller ferries to arrive by 2029.
These will be reliable ships that are appropriate to our means. And you know, when the last lot bought the Ferraris, they forgot you need a garage and a car park space. We haven't forgotten those important facts.
Well, I don't know about the rest of New Zealand, but all I heard was blah, 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 double down on a stupid decision I made a year ago. And that's just disgraceful.
I mean, I was astounded that after a year, a ministerial advisory group, a whole lot of grandstanding from the government, we still have no more information about what they're actually going to do.
The government guaranteeing the project will be cheaper, but they haven't yet procured the ships. They won't say whether they're rail-enabled and won't disclose their budget. Though, 3 News has seen a paper which put the tagged contingency allowed to buy the ferries at $900 million, with extra set aside for the landside infrastructure.
I'm not going to disclose that figure. The advice that we have received is that if we disclose that commercially sensitive figure, we are inviting those who are tendering for this work to climb to that number.
But oops, the ACT Party sent out a press release saying the ferries and landside infrastructure would cost approximately half the $3 billion cost of IREX, so about $1.5 billion.
No, I didn't say half.
No, you did. It's on Twitter. You said half.
No, I think you read more carefully. He's printed it off, has he?
You said it will be approximately half of at least $3 billion.
Approximately, so that gives you a very wide range.
Well, that's not helpful because it's not accurate.
Seymour also floating that it's unlikely the new ships will be rail-enabled, allowing trains to drive on.
There's a possibility he trains in there. I just pointed out it's a lot more expensive and there's no commitment to actually do it.
Perhaps forgetting that New Zealand First is Parliament's biggest proponent of rail.
You know, we don't go into these arrangements taking these responsibilities tend to lose, all right?
So you are going to...
We're going to go and look at every aspect of this thing and in a very short time be able to tell you this is what our plans are.
The new rail minister holding his judgment for now on KiwiRail.
Minister, do you have confidence in the KiwiRail board and its leadership team?
You're asking me?
The Minister for Rail, please, yes.
Well, I'll give you an answer when I've had a chance to talk to them and ask them why we got into the mess we got into now.
A mess he thinks he can clean up.
Well, OK, Jenna, a whole year on, a ferry grounding in between and still a lot of questions to be answered. So why is this taking so long?
Well, there was a ministerial advisory group set up and there is a ready-to-go solution here, but obviously not all of the coalition partners agreed. Now, a lot of the blame has been apportioned to New Zealand First for the delays, for its staunch rail stance, but I understand ACT did its fair share of stalling too. They basically came to the table with a starting point of $0 taxpayer dollars being spent on new ferries. Rail is likely to become a bottom line for New Zealand First, and they would have legitimate ground to argue it. A lot of experts are saying that if those ferries are not rail enabled, it puts serious questions over the entire rail network in the South Island. Now, putting Winston Peters in charge of rail allows him to try and find a solution for a rail enabled ferry, and if that doesn't come to fruition, then they still have the fallback option of what the ministerial group advised to trigger in March if needed. As to who is going to run the ferries, Nicola Willis is still saying that KiwiRail will be responsible, but ACT is still chasing privatisation. So even when we know which boats are coming, there is still a lot of water to go under this bridge.